Hello, everybody, and welcome to Non Sequitur News for August 23rd, 2024. It's Season 3, Episode 236. I am Mayor Watt, and that is the visualizer and the voice for the Sentient AI.
Good evening, and welcome to Non Sequitur News.
I dig that visualizer because it shows the neuronal energy necessary to transform your processes into that speech and that visualizer. It's pretty cool. I dig it. Hey, anyway, today we're going to be talking about drilling for origin story. Robocaller spam sucks. Record-breaking tunnel. Brain meets microplastics. Biggest airlines battle. Insect superhighway. China's Uber Eats variant. The NASA DART update. Dance for pizza, monkey. Dance. And my own private Maine island. That and more, kind of. There's going to be snark, jokes, anecdote, maybe a little soapboxing. I don't know. We'll see. So if you want all of today's show notes, you just hit !NSN. ohmTown will throw all of the articles into the chat. If you want the podcast, you hit !pod. And if you want all of the show note syntax so that you know what shows and how to get the latest show notes, you hit !show notes. And that'll give you the syntax needed. Ta-da! We're all caught up. That's the housekeeping portion of the show. Let's get into the news. We were talking about this. Is the news that we talk about evergreen? Can you go back and let us know in the comments? Can you go back and look at the older videos? Each one of the videos over on YouTube, because after 60 days, Twitch doesn't have them. They punt them. Dunk. But over on YouTube and the podcasts, you can download them and the show notes are there. And you can click the links and go see the articles that we talk about and many, many more over at ohmTown.com. So are they evergreen? Is it kind of like a recipe? Can you go back 10 days and read some news? We think so because it's informative, it's educational. Some of it might be temporal in that, well, the drilling for origin story has to do with something that's here and now, but did you know about it prior to the show? So I think we're educational and informative and somewhat entertaining. But let us know in the discussions. We're really curious. If you can't make it to the shows themselves where you talk to us in real time, either on YouTube or on Twitch, then leave a comment. Download the podcast and leave a comment there. Leave a 5-star review and I'll quote you. If you leave anything other than a 5-star review, you're dead to me. I mean, I'm sorry we didn't meet your requirements, but let us know what you're looking for, because maybe we already thought of it and we said, there's others that are doing that kind of stuff. But we always, we're not perpetually locked into whatever it is we're doing. That's not true. We're steadfast. We're going to ignore everything.
No, that's not true.
I might be doing this wrong. So our first article is over on Non Sequitur News. Scientists are drilling into the ocean's quote-unquote lost city to find the origins of life. Take a look. This is over at Business Insider, so they're going to have some really cool pictures. Scientists drilled into the seafloor to look billions of years into the planet's past. Some scientists think hydrothermal vents may be given rise to life on Earth, and the signals to life's origins could be locked inside molecules deep underground. What's interesting is we just got back into ohmTown and actually had a discussion about hydrothermal vents. Is the water that comes out of a hydrothermal vent fresh water or is it salt water if it's in the ocean? And after doing some quick digging, essentially it's salt water, because it's salt water that percolates down into the hydrothermal vent, gets superheated and then exhausted back out. So percolates. Quite an interesting discovery that it's not fresh. It's not purified by the heat of the magma.
Right, it's kind of surprising.
Yeah. So it doesn't become distilled. So Jenny McGrath and Jessica Orwig over at BusinessInsider.com put the article together, and they have a picture already right out of the gate of these cores that show a timeline, essentially, of material that's been deposited or churned up through plate tectonic subduction, or volcanic eruption, etc. I don't understand how they're going to go back in the past on the seafloor, because
No, does that mean they're gonna dig through layers or something and go, oh, this was last century?
Yeah, they do that now with the surface, but the thing about it is, I guess it depends on where they're doing it, because it's the youngest rocks, because the ocean floors are spreading apart from each other in some places and subducting in other places. We just talked about plate tectonics the other day. So these should be really young. Why would the building blocks be there, right? So they're saying,
yeah, they should be much further down
and further away. They should be locked in rock strata on the surface in the mountains, because that's where all of it's been forced up, right? And not necessarily by volcanic eruptions. Plates bang into each other over millennia, over millions of years, and sometimes they get pushed up, not through volcanic deposition. So they say in the pitch black waters at the bottom of the Atlantic is a vast array of hydrothermal vents and hot springs that some scientists hypothesize offer a similar environment to where life may have blossomed on Earth billions of years ago. The region is called the Lost City, and it has been a hotspot of scientific interest for decades. But there is one area of the Lost City that researchers couldn't access until recently: the deep sub-seafloor rock that supports the city. Hidden within that rock could be organic molecules that hold clues to how life began. And can you imagine? You could be 1 centimeter off and you miss it.
Oh my goodness. That would be infuriating.
Think of it as the money pit.
Okay, I was just about to say something about Curse of Oak Island. That's really weird.
Yeah, which we haven't been able to watch Curse of Oak Island for a while now. But Susan Q. Lang, an associate scientist at the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institute, told Business Insider that it sounds crazy to say that, but it's not wrong. Lang co-led a team last year that drilled deeper into the seabed than ever before and obtained a sample that's over 4,000 feet long. Here's how they achieved such a feat and what they've found in the rock sample so far. So they dug from basically a big ass ship, a 470 foot long research vessel in the Atlantic Ocean.
Is that the model name?
That is big ass ship. Yeah. No, the ocean drilling vessel Joides, Joides, or Joides, I don't know. Resolution. It's called the Resolution. Recovered the mantle rock in spring of 2023. So they said they made the magic happen. Drilled into this type of rock at a depth of 200 meters. When Lang and the team surpassed 200 meters, they were already extremely excited, but then the drill just kept going. And they breached 200 meters, took them 5 more days to drill 500 meters, which is incredibly rapid. Yep. I don't know what kind of drill they used. I don't think they actually say, at least not yet. But Lang and the team were after the type of rock that once existed deep within Earth's mantle, the layer between Earth's crust and core. So yeah, it has this carbonate towers that vent hydrogen and methane.
That's really neat.
Yeah,
it looks like some sort of sculpture or something.
Yeah, like a whipped cream sculpture. This is like forbidden whipped cream. Your head will just go if you try and go down that deep. So Lost City has what are known as carbonate towers made of limestone that stream out fluid between 59 degrees and 239 degrees Fahrenheit. These fluids have high amounts of hydrogen. Hydrogen is a really good fuel source, so microorganisms can use it to fuel their metabolisms. Perhaps it was crucial to early life too. So if you want to know about Earth's early days, you need to dig deep. Ta-da! This is interesting because this, to me, looks like it's extremely consistent deposition. Like this material is all the same. You just keep looking,
absolutely. It doesn't look natural, right? Because it's too consistent.
It looks like it's like man-made, deposited in such. But we're only looking at a little picture of it, and I'm sure with scientific analysis, it's standard chaos. It's something that nature does. It just looks really, I don't know, I dig that. So photosynthesis has dramatically altered the surface of Earth by the production of oxygen, which has remade types of minerals and rocks. That's why instead of studying carbonate towers and Lost City's surface, Lang and her colleagues drilled further down about a half a mile away. So then they just started looking for an oxygen-free life. 4,000 feet of core called peridotite. I can't even pronounce it. Peridotite. Because Lang and the team were working with samples that had never been exposed to the surface, it was important to preserve their subsurface conditions. So they said that they had to keep some rocks from being exposed to oxygen. The samples from the deep give the researchers a better chance at seeing how molecules formed before photosynthesis started 3.5 billion years ago. It's pretty neat. And then
this is really cool.
Molecular signatures and microbiology is taking place to see if there's microbes. You have to worry about contamination because even the drill bit pulling water down as it's drilling down would contaminate it from the surface, even if it was pristine inside the drill. And down before the drill bites, then it becomes contaminated with water from the surface. So it says it's still in the early stages of the search for the molecules, but the researchers published their early results about the mantle's chemical makeup in the journal Science. So pretty cool.
Yeah, it seems like our scientific discoveries and everything are just accelerating at such a tremendous pace. So it's really cool to see what's going to be ahead on some of these areas.
Yeah, as long as nobody gets a hang up about being profitable about fundamental research, it doesn't. You do fundamental research so that you can stand on the shoulders of giants and move forward just a little bit sometimes. Sometimes it costs an enormous amount of money to facilitate that understanding of how we got here. And hopefully usually there's a corporate profit motive. And if that happens, scientific discovery is going to freeze except for the profit model, the profit motive. And we've seen how that happens. All right, let's keep moving though. The next article is over in Non Sequitur News. New FCC rule would make robocallers disclose they're using AI. I think a new FCC rule should make robocallers illegal. But
I know, why is this so difficult? I mean, I know it's difficult to catch, etc., but there's no benefit in robocalls.
Because you're trampling on my robocaller's rights. Back in February, FCC announced new rules that would prohibit the use of AI-generated deepfake robocalls. The proposal would make such calls illegal under the Telephone Consumer Protection Act, or TCPA, which is already uses or it's in use to combat robocalls. It was prompted by the very sloppy AI deepfake that targeted the Democratic presidential primary and clearly spooked the government. The article is over at techdirt.com by Carl Bode from the I'm sorry I can't do that, Dave department. I like that.
TechDirt always has interesting departments.
Yeah, I wonder how big their building is, or really, really small departments.
Oh, that's true. Because maybe some of them are like one person deep.
Maybe it's like one of those old school medicine cabinets with like billions of little drawers, and you just open it up, and right there is the department, and you slide it back in.
There you go. Could
Huh.
be. It seems like something out of Beetlejuice.
It's how I picture the file system on the ohmTown mayoral server. Like it's little drawers, and there's a person there that's pulling it out. Here's your file. Might explain why it's so damn slow, but so FCC's proposal is particularly interested in making sure that folks that use automated systems for hearing and speech assistance don't find themselves running afoul of the TCPA. The rulings are part of the FCC's inconsistent effort to combat robocalls, which, as we've noted repeatedly, have undermined by decades of court rulings eroding FCC's authority, as well as endless lobbying by quote-unquote legitimate telemarketers and debt collectors wanting to ensure that their efforts to harass consumers aren't impacted by the agency's efforts to undermine scammers. Yeah. So, at the end of the article, they say, I wouldn't expect any of these dynamics to suddenly and mysteriously change simply because automation has come into play. I'd suspect that telemarketers may also eventually balk at these new restrictions on AI, potentially leaning on the Supreme Court's recent Chevron ruling to effectively declare that, as with issues like net neutrality, the FCC has no authority to do much of anything. So, yeah. So net neutrality came back, and then it was partially reinstated, and now it's still in the peeing for distance stage before we get to the find out stage. So it makes my my presentations quite interesting when I give them, because you never know. You know,
on any given day, right? It could change.
Pretty much. Late last year, I gave a talk about a bunch of stuff, including FCC's reinstatement of net neutrality. And then earlier this year, I gave a talk that highlighted the fact that the year prior, I gave a talk that said it was reinstated as a surprise. And now it's back to the old normal. But this year, I'll have to give another talk that says...
Try to keep up.
Yeah. There's several hundred people out there that think that net neutrality may or may not actually be something. It's like seeing a unicorn. But hopefully all of those people follow up with my main statement, which is you have the world's knowledge at your fingertips. Learn how to use it. And trust but verify. So, yeah. Robocallers, I think there's certain uses for robocalls, right? But spam should not be them. And that's why I say robocaller spam sucks.
Right, it should be like for safety or something.
Yeah, yeah. And it
like
shouldn't
call everybody and tell them there's a storm approaching or whatever.
Yeah, no politics. Like get politics out of that damn robocall.
No car warranties.
Yeah, they got rid of those. That actually has been hobbled quite a bit. That one's really interesting. All right, let's keep moving. The next article is over on the Hatch Ideas channel, which is a show that I'd like to kick off that talks about business and business transformation. But the article here is like using Lego blocks. Record-breaking tunnel connecting Denmark and Germany takes shape. And I'm just going to jump straight.
I thought that was interesting since Lego's from Denmark.
Yeah, I think that might be intentional. I don't know.
Too.
This is kind of interesting. So it's over at The Guardian. Miranda Bryant put the article together. The tunnel being built with innovative engineering is final step of project to connect Denmark and the Nordics as a whole to the rest of Europe. From the quayside of the Danish town Rodbehaven. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that even remotely close. I don't know. If I am not, then let me know in chat that I am not. Spell it out phonetically. Oh no. I think hold on a second. I think chat over on YouTube might have broken.
Uh-oh.
So I go through Restream and it's a converged chat. So I don't know if it actually is working. So if you're over there, feel free to throw a chat in there. Because I can't really see it now. Anyway, so sorry about that. So the German town of Puttgarden is just 11 miles away, but getting there involves either a 45-minute ferry journey, plus time for embarking and disembarking, or a 6-hour drive taking in as much of Denmark. But under the water, construction of an alternative future is well underway in the shape of the world's longest immersed tunnel. The term for the tunnel built elsewhere and then sunk into place. Longest immersed tunnel. When the
I guess you could have
Belt...
an above-ground tunnel.
Say that again?
I guess you could have an above-ground tunnel, which would contrast with this.
Yeah, I think what they're doing is they build it above and then they sink it and then they drain it. And that allows you to do away with any of the supports. But you still have to worry about all of that water pressure on the tunnel. And the safety and security of it. I would be really worried about something like that. But that's just me. When the Belt tunnel opens in 2029. Wow, it's only 5 years away. That's insane. Now people will be able to cross the stretch of water in as little as 7 minutes by train, 10 minutes by car. The tunnel will far eclipse the record holder for road and rail, the 2.5-mile Drogden Tunnel, which with the Øresund Bridge connects Denmark and Sweden. I wonder how big this thing is. Oh my goodness. Oh wow. Okay. So it's just this little stretch, but it is still an incredible engineering feat. At the national level,
it'll make a big difference for people in these countries.
Oh yeah, I mean you'd be able to drive from, I think it's pronounced Malmo, all the way to Hamburg on one road. That would be fun. I wouldn't mind doing that. That would be a blast. Huh. Time to make plans for 2030. So, let's see. Unlike a lot of tunnels,
I said why 2030, but then this doesn't happen until 2029.
Exactly. And I'll encourage beta testers to go through it before I go through it. So, unlike a lot of tunnels that run underwater, including the Channel, it's the Channel Tunnel. Which have been constructed using boring machines that dig through the ground. Sections of the Belt tunnel are being built above ground and submerged on the seafloor. Hemmingson said this approach was more efficient and better for the environment. And I suppose the stability of it can be better guaranteed, right? Because you don't know what might happen to the seafloor when you drill through it, no matter how much concrete you put.
That's true. Yeah. There's too much variable, and you could be on a fault line, or you could have different layers of sediment, or any number of things.
I mean, there have been tunnels that have been made where, because of a fracture, they had to redirect how the tunnel coursed through a mountain. So the tunnel, which will comprise 90 217 meter long components that weigh 73,500 tons each, is being constructed at a factory that was built specifically for the project. This is pretty neat. I won't go through everything in this article. I always encourage people to just follow the show note through ohmTown over to The Guardian and check this all out. But I find it really interesting.
Yeah, I think this could change the future of European travel.
Yep. I mean,
not just for tourists, I mean for residents.
Just think of this. You'll be able to go from Sweden all the way down to Hamburg in one
stretch. I mean, that's a big deal.
And it's being enabled because of this one 18-kilometer long submerged tunnel. Pretty cool. Be safe, travelers. All right, let's keep moving. The next article is over on the Mobile Channel. Nearly 0.05% of your brain is likely microplastic, according to brain samples. We've been talking
I
about
thought
this.
nothing could get into your brain. Why can plastic?
Well, let's find out. The tiny omnipresent pieces of plastic are linked to a wide array of health problems in humans and animals. Adam Kovac over at gizmodo.com put the article together. The deck statement says what I just got done saying. And microplastics have been an ongoing, growing problem. We've talked about them periodically in ohmTown over the last 2.5 years. But the discovery of them being, they say, omnipresent, yes, it is basically in every human. They've sampled various parts of people, I'll say it like that, I guess, only to discover that, yeah, microplastics are in everything. And when I say every part of your body,
You mean everything.
all the things. You point to something, there's probably microplastics there. They say a shocking amount of plastic has found our way into brains. Research finds in a new paper, scientists report that brain samples taken from cadavers had an average 0.48% of their weight made up of microplastics. How the hell?
I don't understand this. That's a pretty significant percentage. Plus, remember we were looking at that other article, probably in Technology Today, about the trying to attach, I think, vaccines or treatments to toxoplasmosis because it'll go through the blood-brain barrier. Maybe they just need to attach stuff to microplastics and then, it'll solve all of our problems.
They have to figure out how it gets in there. It says it's pretty alarming. Matthew Campen, a professor at the University of New Mexico who led the research, there's much more plastic in our brains than I ever would have imagined or been comfortable with. I would not be comfortable with any amount.
No, I think one piece is too much.
So again, let's just draw attention to this. The researchers analyzed autopsy samples of human livers, kidneys, and the frontal cortex of brains taken from a medical examiner's office in Albuquerque, New Mexico between 2016 and 2024. Over that 8-year stretch, they found that the levels of plastics in every organ has risen, but most alarmingly in the brain, where the amount of plastic found in 2024 was on average 50% higher than that in 2016. Yeah. And when they talk about other organs. Other organs. So previous studies have found the particles in the brains of fish, causing them to act erratically. Microplastics have been linked to a slew of health problems, including neural disorders. One review of medical literature determined that they were linked to numerous chronic diseases, DNA damage, organ dysfunction, metabolic disorders, and negative effects on immune response. Finding them is the problem, because they don't just show up anywhere. They're too small. The resolution for most imaging is too low, and you need specialized equipment. And so you might be able to use the same technology for like mammograms or something like that, but you have to find it in that small sliver, and you have to have specialists that examine that data. It's just not in the system now, right? And you actually have to be able to find that plastic.
Right, and it could be floating by, but it's not in the sample that you're looking at.
Yep. So I thought you were going to keep talking, but and like I said about the mining operation, you could be 1 centimeter away and miss it, but it is the cause. It is the root of all of your woes, because your body is trying to process it, and it's off-gassing something, or it's causing the DNA that it's laying next to wobble in some way. It is toxic, and obviously we're just now learning of its full impact. And I tried to do away with plastics, but for most of us,
how'd that
it's
work
too late.
for you?
Yeah, it's impossible, like The cables that are holding the wires are plastic, and they turn into microplastics as they decompose. You may not even notice it, but it does happen. Your food containers are microplastic, and that breaks off. Like you cover up your food when you do your takeaway, and it crinkles a little bit of microplastic down onto your food. You consume it, and then it's in your body, and your organs, your intestines, your stomach, all of that will absorb it, and it'll just kind of seep on through. And they found it all over everybody's body when they look. But so again, the small plastics have been found in many goods that humans put into their bodies, including but not limited to toothpaste, beer, honey, salt, sugar, as well as both tap and bottled water. And that's not even counting the invisible plastic particles in the air, which we regularly breathe in, including from car tires. It's all over the ground. You can go swimming and you'll ingest it. It's just wild.
Everywhere. Air, water, soil, food.
Tiny little particles. You don't even know. All right, let's keep going. Can't stay on one topic too long, you know. So this next article is over in Non Sequitur News. Wizz Air and Ryanair, two of Europe's biggest airlines, are in a war of words over Wizz's divisive new all-you-can-fly deal. I'm not sure why it's divisive, but...
Oh, it's very divisive, and it's already sold out as well.
Wow.
Or
it's only $500.
Some cities are sold out.
It's only $550 for a year?
Right, but you have to be at a place that has the route. So, for example, Europe, but not North America.
Oh, right. Well, Wizz Air isn't in the United States.
Correct.
I don't even know if Ryanair is. Huh.
I'm not sure. There might be a city or two that gets you to Europe.
Oh, gotcha. Pete Sim over at BusinessInsider.com put the article together. Ryanair CEO criticized Wizz Air's unlimited flight pass as a marketing scam. Not sure what that really means. If everybody's happy to pay and still gets their flights, then I guess it's bang for buck. He said the flights could sell out before pass holders had a chance to book them, but that's part of the process. A Wizz executive described his comments as provocative and inaccurate. Let's see. Budapest-based carrier flies as far as Dubai and the Maldives. The pass proved popular too, with all 10,000 selling out within 48 hours per Bloomberg. The report added that Wizz is considering releasing more. However, the unlimited flight pass also comes with several caveats. For example, there's a flat $99 or $11 or €10 to be paid separately for each flight segment. Plus, you can only book a flight up to 72 hours in advance. So 10,000 people are probably chomping every 72 hours or every 24 hours to try and get into a flight. I mean, for $500, I'd be flying every weekend, everywhere, all the time.
Well, correct. And after you flew just a couple of places, you'd already paid for it.
Oh, hell yeah. It's a bit of a marketing scam, he told Irish radio station News Talk. But you know what? They're not talking about Ryanair at that point. Ryanair is talking about Wizz Air.
Right, which you don't want to do if you're at the top of your field, right? You just talk about yourself.
Yep. Moynihan said that it would very likely that a flight would sell out 72 hours in advance. She added that Wizz Air flights have an average load factor between 90 and 95. So what?
So that's going to be interesting. Well, I think that means that there's going to be a lot of people wanting to fly and aren't going to be able to get seats. But
right,
maybe
but
not.
That's how it is all the time.
Oh, I agree. I mean, I don't think that proves any of the points here.
Yeah, if anything, if they can actually do it and they're profitable, that means that prices are priced right because they're at maximum occupancy. People are chomping at the bit. They're not unhappy. And if they are unhappy, then Wizz Air can sit there and go, well, we'll have to buy some more planes and create some more routes. And sell more of these because we're operating within our budget. So it must be making economic sense. I don't know. I wonder what the CEO of Wizz Air is making as a salary versus Ryanair. I'd have to do some homework. Is there some greedy bastardity going on here? Okay, but I got to keep moving. Next article's over on Technology Today. Nature's Hidden Highway, over 17 million insects migrate through a single mountain pass each year. I found out today that wasps were making a nest in one of the balustrades on the deck outside the mayoral mansion. And I found it because a little yellow head looked at me and disappeared back inside as I took to the stairs. And I said, that's not good. Because I thought that was fixed. It was not fixed. So, man, I want to say the name of the deck builder because they should change their name. But I can justify it. I got receipts. Anyway, annual migration of over 17 million insects from the Pyrenees has been documented, showcasing the vital ecological roles that insects play and the need for their conservation. New research from the University of Exeter reveals that over 17 million insects migrate each year through a single mountain pass on the border. Doink. The article's over at...
really ridiculous. I didn't know insects even migrate.
Yeah, that's an interesting observation that you just made there. I mean, I've been saying that migrate, but how do they know that they're coming back?
Well, that's a good point. Are they radio tagging them or something?
Are they all going in one direction and they're never... Doesn't migration mean coming back, going back and forth?
Usually, right? Like birds or, it wouldn't have to be birds, land mammals.
Yeah. Anyway, University of Exeter put the article together. It's over at scitechdaily.com. The findings for this single pass suggest that billions of insects cross the Pyrenees each year, making it a key location for many migrating species. The migrating insects begin their journeys further north from Europe, including the UK. More than 70 years ago, two ornithologists, Elizabeth and David Lack, chanced upon an incredible spectacle of insect migration from the pass of Buarello, I suppose. Said Will Hawks from the Center of Ecology and Conservation on Exeter's Penryn campus in Cornwall. They witnessed remarkable numbers of marmalade hoverflies migrating through the mountains, the first recorded instance of fly migration in Europe. I guess migration can go one way, right? Like immigration versus immigration.
I guess it could, but why would they only go in one direction?
I thought migration is both directions, you know?
Mm-hmm. It can be, but I don't know why they would only go in one location, especially annually. That makes it sound like they might be coming back.
Hold on. Seasonal movement from one region to another, not necessarily back and forth. It's literally just from one place to another. So team leader Dr. Carl Wotten said, to see so many insects all moving purposefully in the same direction at the same time is truly one of the great wonders of nature. End quote. Insect numbers peaked when conditions were warm, sunny, and dry with low wind speed and a headwind to keep the insects low over the pass so that they could be counted. How the hell did you count? They had to extrapolate from like a minute worth of bug flying.
Right, a minute was like a million bugs. Okay, 10 minutes is 10 million bugs.
Yep. A range of insects were seen, but flies made up 90% of the total. Although butterflies and dragonflies were migratory insects, they comprise less than 2% of the total. These migratory insects, especially the flies, were hugely important for our planet. Nearly 90% of the insects were pollinators, and by migrating, moving genetic material great distances between plant populations, improving plant health. So as long as they took some unique pollen with them.
That's right. You got to stop them at the border crossing and go, do you have some unique pollen? No, go back.
Do you have anything to declare? Do my pollen sacs make my thighs look big? Due to the climate crisis and habitat loss, these vital insect migrants are thought to be declining. Heard in the distance. Someone say insect migrants? Moving on. Next article is over in Non Sequitur News. China's version of Uber Eats says it now delivers snacks to the Great Wall for 56 cents using drones. It's like $36 for a snack, but it's 56 cents for the delivery.
Right. Well, that's true. Yeah, there might be a snack fee.
I wonder, like, how much that would actually cost. Like, what would a snack being delivered? Like, it's 56 cents for the snack and the delivery? Let's find out. Tourists at the Great Wall of China can now have food delivered to them via a drone for just 56 cents. The company said that items can reach hikers in 5 minutes from a nearby hotel. The announcement comes as China's low-altitude economy rapidly gains traction. That's interesting. Low-altitude economy.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
Dear God, look at the size of this thing. It's like as big as the Great Wall of China's towers.
Well, it must have the family-size snacks.
It might be a perspective thing. This is actually only like an inch tall. No, just kidding. Adita Barad over at businessinsider.com put this article together. Hold on, I need to bring the other chat back because the one over on YouTube is broken for me. Sorry, folks. So yeah, 56 cents, 5 minutes from a nearby hotel. But I want to know how much an actual item costs. Food delivery giant Meituan, China's version of Uber Eats, said on August 16th that it can now deliver food, drinks, and medical supplies to hikers. The delivery fee is just 56 cents, on par with Meituan's regular food deliveries by road, local news outlet Beijing Youth Daily reported. The outlet said that tourists can
I think that's just the fee.
Gotcha. I mean, a snack. I don't know. I guess I was being a little disingenuous with it because 56 cents, no matter what. Like, hey, I want ice cream. It's only 56 cents. But obviously, yeah, you're right. You have to pay for the sandwich and then 56 cents. That's cheap. Do you know how much it costs to Uber Eats something? It
costs more for the delivery than the food a lot of times.
Yeah. And the restaurants that use these services get really dinged hard for it too. The outlet said that tourists
they pay a fee.
Yep. The outlet said that tourists could scan a code near the bottling section of the wall about 50 miles northwest of Beijing city center to order sandwiches, ice cream, sun umbrellas, and emergency medication. I would want.
Okay, that's neat. Can you imagine a drone dropping an umbrella?
Like a lawn
You think it's
dart?
already open? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It says delivery time is short, about 5 minutes. The report stated that the plane with a wingspan of 52.8 feet could carry 4,400 pounds of load. This is news of the Great Wall delivery drones comes shortly after China tested its biggest unmanned cargo aircraft to date on August 11th, which is a side discussion that was thrown in at the end of this article, but I figured I'd talk about it. Just imagine that. A drone that can drop 4,400 pounds.
Okay, that would be a problem.
Yeah. You wanted...
You know what? We need to have drones to take out the trash in where was it? Mount Everest.
They are. They're doing that now.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
we had an article about that.
Yeah, we even talked about it. So now, yeah, they're piloting drones up Mount Everest to grab debris. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Really, I think it should be all of the ultra-rich people that are doing that. That should be carrying down their
Yeah,
own
no, I
body weight
agree.
of trash.
I mean, I think drones with snacks is needed everywhere, not just at the Great Wall.
Back to the Doritos. The next article is over in the Mobile Channel. NASA's DART impact permanently changed the shape and orbit of asteroid Moon, which is kind of an interesting phrase, according to a new study. When NASA's double asteroid redirection test, which I talked about yesterday with a group of people, spacecraft, so this DART collided with an asteroid moon called Dimorphos in 2022, and the moon was significantly deformed, creating a large crater and reshaping it so dramatically that the moon derailed from its original evolutionary progression, according to a new study. And it's pulling on Didymus, so its parent asteroid. The asteroid's researchers believe that Dimorphos may start to tumble chaotically as it attempts to move back into gravitational equilibrium with its parent asteroid, Didymus. The article is over at phys.org. University of Maryland put the article together. Yeah, you can actually go out and watch videos of this now, of the DART hitting Dimorphos. And the researchers were surprised by just how destructive it was, but it completely reorganized Didymus, or not Didymus, Dimorphos. So the paper published in Planetary Science Journal on August 23rd, 2024 by a team led by Richardson, which is Derek Richardson, a professor of astronomy at University of Maryland and the DART Investigation Working Group lead. Detailed notable post-impact observations and described possible implications for future asteroid research, like the upcoming "oh shit, we caused an asteroid to smash into the Earth" project.
Exactly. And you've mentioned this previously in ohmTown.
Yeah, that we didn't know what the hell was really going to happen, and we may rue the day, so to speak. So there's a quote here. We were expecting Dimorphos to pre-impact simply because that's generally how we believed the central body of a moon would gradually accumulate material, and that's been shed off a primary body like Didymus. It would naturally tend to form an elongated body that would always point its long axis towards the main body, as it gravitationally just pulls a little bit of debris. Richardson explains that last little portion was my observation. But anyway, they continue the quote, but this result contradicts that idea and indicates that something more complex is at work here. Furthermore, the impact-induced change in Dimorphos' shape likely changed how it interacts with Didymus. That's kind of the no-shit news at 924.
True, but I think this is the first time we've seen that acknowledged.
Yeah, since this impact, nobody has said anything, but there's a lot of armchair astronomers and armchair scientists that have been more on the conservative side of maybe we shouldn't just go blasting man-made stuff into what is a object in its natural progressive state or progression. It has been going around Didymus for eons, right? For millennia, for since time immemorial, and we just shot something at it to see what happened. And the reason why we did it was to see if we could disrupt an asteroid's direction, and we did it. And so now
we did it, but what else did we do?
Yeah, what is the long-term effect? Is Dimorphos going to keep on tugging on Didymus? Is it going to change its orbit? And will it ever cross paths with some other object that might be deflected? Yeah, we asked if we could. We didn't ask if we should. The team's now waiting to find out when the ejected debris will clear from the system, whether Dimorphos is still tumbling in space, and when it will eventually regain its previous stability, which seems really positive, but who knows?
Exactly.
And I don't want to be the bearer of bad news when somebody goes, it's going to come real close. But who knows? Who knows yet? We got to wait for the math to come back around, or the asteroid to let us know that it's there. It could take 100 years to see noticeable changes in the system, but it's only been a few years since the impact. Learning about how long it takes Dimorphos to regain its stability tells us important things about the, oh shit, look, it's coming straight for us. Oh, that's not what it says. I'm sorry. Hold on. Let me reread that. It's going to tell us how long it takes for something to restabilize, and about its internal structure, which in turn informs future attempts to deflect hazardous asteroids or create hazardous asteroids. 6 on one hand, half dozen on the other. You know?
Yeah, I think it might be generations till we see what actually transpired.
Hey, what we leave for our children. So this next article, moving on, by the way, next article is over on the Mobile channel. Pizza Hut is letting customers pay for pizza with TikTok dances. That's right. Dance, monkey, dance. And they don't care about how many followers you have. So I have decided that I'm going to be ordering from Pizza Hut every hour on the hour.
Do you have your dance lined up?
I have my dance, monkey, dance songs. No, I don't. Duo Rashid is over at gizmodo.com that put the article together. Let's see. Pay with your trend. This is part of the new Pay with your trend promotion and applies to its My Box deal. To snag a free pizza, you must first place an order for My Box like you typically would. Okay, this sounds weird already. This can be done online on the Pizza Hut UAE site, app, or a physical store. Then you film a TikTok of yourself with My Box. The content can feature any TikTok trend you like. Next, publish your video on TikTok, tag Pizza Hut UAE, and add the hashtag your terms, your conditions to the caption. Make sure that you're following the Pizza Hut UAE page. All right. And as soon as Pizza Hut UAE sees your TikTok, they will send you a direct message with a one-time promo code. Enter the code on the website, and a free My Box will be sent.
I mean, this will probably work for a lot of people. If they're already on TikTok, there's not a lot of downside.
True. And hell, it might actually lead to you being discovered if whatever it is you do goes viral.
Correct.
Yep. I mean, Pizza Hut will basically pump your...
Because they can
recontextualize whatever it is.
Thank you.
Look,
yes.
They did it here. Look, this person did it. This person did it. I mean, it's the difference between millions of dollars being spent and you wonder if it's going to convert. Because when you're really popular, advertising is nothing more than sustaining the image in people's mind that you exist. When you are unheard of, you have to basically be a dumpster fire for people to pay attention to you. Or you grind for years and slowly build an audience. You know, I know people that have been streaming in one capacity or another, either from mainstream media and then they convert over to YouTube or Twitch or both, 30 years. And they're still streaming to maybe 150 people, but they have another audience that it's just slowly turned into 10,000 people, but they're not being watched, they're being listened to, or they're being interacted with, and they value that. So like Pizza Hut, $10, $15 worth of free My Box deal, and you have 1,000 people doing that. That's pretty cheap,
right?
Yeah. And again, it can go viral, and it's regional, so they can concentrate where they do this. So pretty interesting. I don't know. I'm gonna have to keep an eye on that and see what happens.
Are you gonna be submitting your TikTok dance?
No, I'm not UAE. So it's regional.
Yeah, I
marketing.
didn't realize it was only that though.
Yeah. Kind of unfortunate, expand that. But I bet you it's
Maybe
too
they will.
expensive to. Says,
No,
of
that's
course,
true.
this isn't some kind of or some act of kindness that the multinational food chain is doing. It's going for free marketing, a trending hashtag, a bigger following for its TikTok channel. It's everything that I just got done saying. I hadn't even read that section of it, but it's, kind of business 101. Yeah, I give other people advice for their businesses, particularly in the startup sector, but I hate following my own advice. So, all
Well,
right,
that's
everybody.
probably not that uncommon.
Plus, what am I going to do? Tell people to create a TikTok and shake your moneymaker for ohmTown? And what? I'll play it here on ohmTown.
But yeah, what if they tag ohmTown and Pizza Hut?
Oh gosh, no! Don't do that. don't don't tie ohmTown to Pizza Hut in the UAE. I don't know if I don't know how that'll go over. All right. Well, anyway, we have one more article for today for Non Sequitur News, and this is over in the Stock Marketeers channel, where we talk about business, focusing on the stock market and stock trends, technical and holistic trading and analysis. I aggregate news into it, but I don't really have a show built out yet. But we have 50 channels here over at ohmTown.com under 6 main categories. Each of them are a niche. They're all focused on some topic. Sometimes they blend over into other things, but they do have a particular focus and ambition to be. And if you're interested in that kind of thing, then let me know. You can host or co-host, or you can just hang out. Go over to ohmTown.com, sign up, become a citizen. But this last article is, now you can have your own private island. It's in Maine for less than $5 million, and there's one little catch, other than the fact that there's 4 seasons and one of them is really, really brutal.
Yeah, like cold, really cold, mega cold, and pleasant, or whatever.
Maybe, 3 minutes of pleasant. So the estate, known as Birch Island, sits on 11 acres and could easily be fashioned as a year-round residence or summer home. Oh, I don't know. Oh, good. I didn't log in. So some of their stuff, if you're not logged in over at MarketWatch, it kind of bumps you. But so Christine Hansen over at MarketWatch put the article together. The home that's on this plot of land was built in 1914 and has been owned by the same family for 70 years. Wow. Oh, wow. That looks really cool.
Oh, it is. But looks like it belongs in a story or something.
Oh, yeah. This is NaNoWriMo stuff. So the private island in Maine, home to a storied estate, recently landed on the market for just $5 million, but potential buyers might want to think twice before snapping up this isolated oasis. The estate, known as Birch Island, is near South Bristol, Maine. Joseph Sortwell of Landvest / Christie's International Real Estate listed the property for just under $5 million, a relatively low sum. So what's going on here? Plenty to offer for it is an island. There looks like there's a little bridge across. I don't know.
A footbridge.
Yeah, there's also a private gated footbridge to access the island, and it says, wait, a footbridge? Yeah. Let's see here. What else? Oh, this is the kind of thing where a storm wipes out your only way to get off the island.
Yeah, that might be an issue.
Yeah, you'll have to check this out. If you're listening to this via the podcast, you really have to go over to YouTube. If you go over to Twitch in the next 60 days, you can watch it. I mean, just look for the August 23rd episode. But over on YouTube, you can watch it with the show notes and everything. The place looks like it's just this massive island from a rock uplift. It doesn't look like there's like as much soil as you might think, but it has this multi-storied house sitting on it. Main living area has a fire. I mean, it looks cozy. It looks pretty sedate. So what was the big catch?
Well, because you have to walk to your island.
So until and unless a new owner installs a dock, you'll have to schlep all your stuff on foot to the island over this little bridge.
I mean, you can't even like move your furniture or whatever in.
Modern conveniences aren't too far away. You're really close to Christmas Cove. Oh my gosh. The mayoral mansion just may have to move. I don't know.
That's the guest cabin. That's cute.
Yeah, and you can whatchamacallit? You can Airbnb that.
That's true. That might end up paying for your property over time.
Just charge them $1 million a week, and you can pay for
there you go.
your mansion in 5 days or 5 weeks. So searching for the right buyer, it says there's some pieces that they're going to take and other pieces that they'd be open to leaving. They're not going to be stripping the house up by any means. They're keeping it with the historic charm with a lot of detail inside. I don't really need your stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't want to keep other people's stuff.
You know why they're doing that? Is because they don't want to schlep it over the footbridge. It's much easier to leave it.
They put such a positive spin on it. We'll take the tiny stuff, but the heavy stuff, it's yours. Yeah, in fact, Sortwell, which is ironic. The name Sortwell.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Hopes a preservation-minded steward puts in an offer. You know what? I could be, if you lower it to $1 million, I'll be preservation-minded.
Right, exactly.
My vision for the island is to restore the home that is there. There's room on the island to build a larger home if one chose. And this as the guest house or the main meeting house, and build more cabins in a Nordic style to create your own summer camp. He believes the buyer will likely already own a vacation property in the Hamptons, Newport, or Nantucket, but desire more room to spread out and potentially develop. All right, but you really can't. Okay, I'm going to go back up to the overview there. Look at that. No. This is a better picture.
Oh, yeah.
The pictures that are in the article belie just how quaint this looks. And it makes it look a lot smaller in those pictures, because this looks like it's 3 stories.
Yeah, the other pictures make it look almost cramped inside, but this picture makes it just look
almost
very
regal.
enticing.
I mean, yeah, it looks. But obviously, if you were to put a house where you know what the size is next to it, I think this is like a tiny little Foursquare kind of thing.
Right? I mean, maybe those are bushes and not, what's the tall kinds of trees?
Right. Yeah.
Redwoods.
Like redwoods. This is actually like it's a little weed.
Oh, it's like what are those the photography that's at the small scale?
Oh, it's forced perspective. The one where everything looks like ants.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what is that called? I forgot. It's not forced perspective. I mean, it's that, but it isn't. Anyway, do they say how big the house itself is? Because the property is 11 acres, but it's all rock.
I don't think they did. I don't think they're going to feature that if it's a small house, but I don't think they said that in there. Might have to go to the actual listing.
Yeah. Sorry if I'm scrolling really fast, folks. I'm just trying to race through to see if I can find. Yeah, it doesn't have a number. But okay, folks. So if you send Bitcoin to the tune of $5 million, I'll relocate the mayoral mansion and we'll let the guest house out for any ohmTown citizen to come and hang out. But you have to schlep your own stuff across that footbridge.
And maybe you can help Mayor Watt schlep his stuff across the footbridge.
You must Sherpa me across the bridge daily. All right, folks, that's it. We are done for Non Sequitur News for August 23rd, 2024. It's Season 3, Episode 236. Choo-choo, the year is going by. So I am going to schlep all the way across this bridge one last time, and that's going to bring us to the front page of ohmTown.com, where you should go and become a citizen of ohmTown. But that's it. I am Mayor Watt, and that's the visualizer for the Sentient AI.
Nope.
Doggone it. I almost had that neuron there. All right.
Good night, ohmTown citizens. Thanks for joining us for Non Sequitur News. Be back tomorrow. We have Non Sequitur News and the weekly shows.
Only 3 of them. We're doing Non Sequitur News and then 3 other ohmTown shows that we've been doing for how long now? A year. Close to a year. We're coming up on a year for all of the shows.
For the weeklies?
Yeah. Roughly. We're 26 or so weeks.
Some of those are 5 months or a little longer.
Yeah. Pretty cool. All right. Anyway, we'll see you on the other side. Bye-bye. This is me schlepping across that bridge. Schlep, schlep, schlep. Ugh. I am not moving to Maine.